Hello, listeners, and welcome to the Pod Fruit One Piece Through New Eyes. On today's episode, we'll be discussing Volume 27, titled Overture. Volume 27 covers chapters 247 through 255. I am the host, Michael, and with me, as always, we have our One Piece rookies, V and Dylan.
Hello, hello.
Konbanwa.
Well, a quick reminder to join us on Twitter, Instagram, and Discord for all the latest announcements, information, and fun. On Twitter, we are at PodFruit. Instagram, it's PodFruit, and our Discord is linked in the description. I don't usually do this, but if I may, the Discord is really the place to be.
We have a lot of
Join
fun
us on
the
Twitter,
Discord.
join us on Instagram, but yeah, Discord's the most interactive, and
Yeah.
we are all in there. And we would also love it if you gave us a follow and a review. Let us know what you like or what you don't. We love feedback. So, let's begin. So, my summary today, written by yours truly, of Volume 27. The Straw Hat crew, split up into two contingents, comes under attack by two of Kami's vassals. Chopper, alone on the boat, has been attacked by the mounted flying Shura, while Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp take on vassal Satori. Chopper is saved by the Sky Knight, Gonfall. Not before the Sky Knight and the Going Merry take heavy damage. Luffy and Sanji are able to team up to defeat Satori. Elsewhere, a group of guerrillas known as the Shandians plan to attack the Kami. On their way to fight the vassals, they encounter Luffy, Usopp, and Sanji. A brief scuffle breaks out as they continue on. The Shandians fight fiercely against the vassals, but are slowed by Kamakiri's injury, and thus thwarted. The group of Zoro, Robin, and Nami discover ruins that indicate the land in Skypiea was once part of Jaya, back on Earth. Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp finally make it to the Going Merry and reconnect with the rest of their crew. Together, they form a plan to find the treasure from Cricket's legend. Later that same night, Usopp sees a mysterious figure repairing the ship. The Straw Hats then set out in two groups. However, a giant anaconda attack splits up the group of Luffy, Chopper, Robin, and Zoro. And that is my summary for Volume 27. Let's jump in with Chapter 247. V has been starting things off lately, and we're going to keep that going for the foreseeable future. V, go ahead.
You guys are stuck with me forever.
Until it's Dylan's turn.
I mean, okay, fine. Thanks for freaking shooting me right the fuck down.
You're like Fry's
Point
dog
blank.
in Futurama.
Oh no! Oh no! Don't make me cry. Speaking of crying, intro image story. Wobble can suck my nuts. The little match girl is actually such a tragic story. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the story of the little match girl.
No.
She played with matches and then burned to death?
No, well, so she's...
Oh.
I'll do a really quick overview. Basically, she's very, very poor, and her mother sends her out around Christmas time to sell matches, but no one is buying them. And
Lighters.
I think she gets like... she gets like... I feel like somehow she loses her shoes or whatever. It's snowing. And then she finds a little corner to huddle in, and to keep warm, she starts lighting the matches. And she's basically hallucinating these different scenes of like Christmas that she'll never experience, with like a full table and family and friends and people are warm and
let's kinda
comfy
see
and blah,
here.
blah, blah. Yeah, and then basically she dies.
Oh.
They end up finding the dead little match girl surrounded by matches in the street
Who
in the
came
morning.
up with this?
I don't
real?
know. I don't know that it's a real story. It's like I wouldn't call it a fairy tale, but it's
It's like a fable.
it's a fable of sorts. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure who wrote it, but yeah,
Or
come
why.
to think of it, like it's so tragic.
Is there a lesson?
The lesson.
I don't know.
Yeah, don't play with matches. We're going to make you freeze to death.
I
in the
think it's
snow.
more to be aware that people might not be as fortunate as you are, and to, like, what is poverty, a way to explain poverty to children. But like, it's so tragic. I don't know why my parents allowed me to read it when I was like 7 years old. But yeah, I'll look up who writes that and what type of story it's qualified as later. But yeah, Wobble can suck it. He's not a martyr.
Oh, he's missing a shoe too.
Right? Okay, so yeah, and that's...
Yeah, he's missing a shoe. You see the jovial thing in the background.
Okay. Like, Oda obviously knows about the actual story of the little match.
Yeah, I
girl.
had no context. I looked at the titles like, I don't know what that means, and then I moved on.
Yeah, and he's trying to sell the matches, but people are rejecting him. Yeah.
That dude is literally pushing him away with his foot. Like, please get away from me.
He has a dog.
That's how you deal with crackheads. It's like, nope.
He has a dog pissing on his coat.
Yeah, he does have a dog pissing on him.
Yeah.
That'll warm him up.
A little bit.
Anyway, so fuck you, Apple. We started the chapter off. We're back to the balls, baby. We're picking up basically where we left off during the last volume, as the Straw Hats have to figure out a way to get the ship back while trying their best to avoid the balls because, as we found out, nothing good comes of them. I did really like the perspective on the bottom panel of page 2 as the Straw Hats are looking up at Satori and the boat floating away. Like, it's an interesting visual shot.
Yeah.
Luffy looks as determined as ever to kick some ass in the middle of page 3 as he tells Sanji and Usopp to go for the ship and he's going to deal with Satori, which I kind of like Satori's retort at the bottom of the page when he says, "We'll see those cookies crumble."
We'll see whose cookie crumbles.
Whose cookie crumbles? Yeah.
That is a weird thing to say.
That was kind of funny.
This is Anchorman, and that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
Top of page 4, Sanji telling Luffy not to be reckless. The most useless words that were ever uttered in the history of mankind.
You could have just said nothing.
He could have.
Everything would have been
exact. Just save your energy.
Yeah, just so useless. You know he's going to actively do the opposite. Why even bother? It seems like regardless of Sanji's advice, Luffy's Gum Gum pistol isn't as effective as usual, and even backfires?
I like that panel.
So I just need to go through that what happens there with you guys, because my perception of what happens over pages 4 and 5 is that Satori grabs onto Luffy's arm and uses it then to send Luffy swerving into the tree.
Yeah.
That's what happens? Okay. I wasn't exactly sure, but...
We tracked your arm and dragged him to you.
Yeah.
He's been grabbed by the arm a couple times. It's like, just bring it back.
It might have happened very quickly, though. I'm not sure.
Right. That would be the best way to explain it.
And yeah, I also feel like over pages 6 and 7, we get other like really interesting perspective shots as Usopp and Sanji are chasing the ship through the forest. I thought that was cool. That's something that I guess I would like to see animated to really see the movement and the different perspectives. The tip of Usopp's nose being the one part of him that comes in contact with the ball that's at page 9, I think? At page 8? At page 9.
With the little tonk.
Yeah, exactly. It was so funny. For some reason, I just laughed at that. But yeah, and then he crashes. At pages 10 and 11, we can see that Luffy's Gatling gun absolutely backfires and sends the balls going in all directions. That maybe was not the way to go, Luffy. I feel like I would have had the insight to not do something like that when there are like hundreds of danger balls all around me.
Yeah, right.
But it is Luffy we're talking about.
No, it's like pool. If you don't have a clear shot, just knock the ever living shit out of the balls.
Yeah, right.
That being said, I did love seeing the variety of effects that the balls have at page 12. A special shout out to the birds, just absolutely ganging up on Usopp.
The squaw. Beat the shit out of him.
That was really, really funny. And then I had a giggle at the bottom of page 13 with Luffy swinging from a vine like Tarzan, and Usopp being like, "Ah, yes, now's the time to try out my latest invention, the Usopp, oh."
That's the funny thing is, like, Oda at his age would have, if he's seen some Western TV, he's probably seen George of the Jungle.
This man clearly consumes a decent bit of Western media.
Yeah.
He knows Little Match Girl.
The movie was actually pretty big.
Yeah. And that was kind of funny. The build up to it over pages 14 and 15 was great. I was like, yes, Usopp is being clever and brave and his plan could 100% work. But of course, the rope gets stuck and it leaves him and Luffy just swinging around in circles. At page...
Should have a quick release on
page 16. Speaking of page 16, for some reason, I really like the top panel of 16. It's super pale.
I love it.
All you see is Usopp's shape swinging away from the ship, but I love the emphasis on it. Like, for a panel that is so simple and minimalistic, it caught my eye.
This gives the vibe, it's like, at this point. he knew he fucked.
Yeah, right, exactly. And also, it saves Oda. I think it is important to put the emphasis on it, because you think about this being in a jungle setting. If Oda had drawn the setting, you wouldn't have really seen Usopp swinging back as well. And I think it was important to the storytelling that it be shown very clearly. So it was a clever choice on Oda's part.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I think it also kind of gives you a little bit of like the insight of Usopp's perspective. Yeah. The only thing he is focused on is that boat.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. We get quite the jarring turn of events as we go from Sanji gently scolding Luffy and Usopp at the top of page 16 to Satori striking Sanji right in the chest and visibly doing a lot of damage as we see him with blood dripping out of his nose and mouth and falling to the ground as the two others call his name. Like, this is giving severe internal injury.
Yeah.
That's what the 5-finger death punch from Kill Bill.
Yeah,
like this is, I thought you were talking about the band.
That too. And then we move on to like the flashback to what happened with the whistle, only to be used by Usopp, Chopper, and Nami to Luffy's dismay, and the transition over to my sweet little baby Chopper carefully putting it around his neck, then going into it the second he sees a threat come his way. Oh, he's so cute.
The realization is like, what's that? Oh fuck! Oh fuck!
Yeah,
he's so just
tweet,
like
tweet.
Like the top of the page with him like looking at the whistle and then putting it around his neck was so cute to me. It was giving like child, like a little boy. And then the middle panel was great because we see Chopper turning around and realizing what's going on and then blowing the whistle in the panic. Like the way that's drawn, just the way that we see him turn was excellent. Yeah, and that's what I have for 247. Dylan?
Like I will admit, all the perspective shots where you get to see like the jungle, just like full of these like balls hovering in the air. Was great, and also like seeing the river that it's traveling on, how it's
defies logic and physics.
Yeah, it's just you can trace it and everything. It's really cool. It kind of really lets you kind of feel like you're in the environment a little bit. And the way this guy talks, just the ho ho. Like to me, it's just like he's a little sing-songy with it. It's not actually singing. It's like now you'd better hurry for the ship, or it's going to get away, and you'll never get out of here. As opposed to fucking Agram being like. me, and then never fucking singing.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck's going on here? And then, of course, Luffy's like, you guys go get that ship. I'ma bust that guy's bubble. I was about to read that. It's like, I want to bust that guy's balls.
Yes.
It's like, your face is fucking stupid.
Yeah. Just give him a real hard time.
When they get to see, it's like, you just imagine this guy's going to be slow on the take, and the fact that he's just pretty easily just dodging around, almost as if he can tell what's going to happen before it happens. And I will say that the shot in the 6 is kind of haunting when he's just like, all right, where are the other two? And it's, there they are. And it's like the zoom in on the glasses. Because I feel like in a lot of like horror animated stuff, it's like anytime you see the serial killer's face, it's always like really close up in the glasses and sees the reflection of the victim.
Have you seen Sin City?
Yeah.
Elijah Wood's character? I think it's Elijah Wood's character, where it's like heavily focused on,
It rips off his penis.
I think so. Does that happen?
Yeah, he rips off his penis.
Okay.
Does he do that? Anyway.
Yeah, he rips off, the first time he catches him, he rips off his penis, then he comes back and just lets the dogs eat him.
Oh, damn.
Oh, yeah. That's the end of that section is him just laying there.
That's
with the light. Like, in his glasses. Anyway.
Yeah. Because he can't feel pain, so he's just deadpan staring at him and smiling at him as he's being eaten alive. And I kind of like, when Usopp and this is kind of another example of like Usopp kind of really understanding tactical awareness and like getting the scope of the battlefield, because like the first thing he does is he gets high.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, Sanji, and then he's like, Sanji, it's over there. Climb 2 trees ahead of you, go up, it's straight shot, and like directing from above, which as the sharpshooters of the group, it makes sense. And of course the comedic, like the stereotypical like 90s anime kind of comedic relief of like the faintest little touch, or even like Looney Tunes-esque. It's, oh god, it's the bomb, and just lightly tinks on it, and everything explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And based on the way Usopp fell, he should probably be dead. That spine is obliterated.
That's his ability.
I've got the rubber spine fruit.
It's like Luffy's, but different. It's different.
Yeah, it's like Laffy Taffy. And then, of course, Luffy gets the reaction. It's like somebody hurt his friend. He goes all out. And I just love the wild abandon from it, that he's using these things that have been exploding on him and launching snakes and shit as a stepping stone to platform himself towards the enemy. It's like, hell yeah. And then the perspective shot of 11, just after he's throwing the Gatling gun, just seeing everything. It's like a pinball when you have like all the multi-ball. You have like 8 balls going in the pinball machine at one time. It's like, what the fuck's happening? What's going on?
You're just smashing the buttons on the side. There's no strategy or like tactics anymore.
Yeah. If anything, it's like just keep one of them up. And then like seeing Usopp bash these birds' head in with the mallet. Like the mallet is his most powerful tool. He defeated Chu with it.
He like psyched it out when it was the pans. Or something, you know what I'm talking about? His 1 ton.
Well, that was his 10K. 10K hammer.
It wasn't the same, but it's similar, and it was awesome.
Yeah, but and then we're getting to see kind of some of the more stuff I was hoping to see a bit more, but it's coming from Usopp. But like the whole like guy's got the utility belt and he's got the gadgets. Usopp is very much becoming that guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's got the grapple hook now. It's like you're still a bit of a doof, but you know you're finding ways to pull your weight in your way. That's interesting. Oh god, the shot of him coming to the ship on 15, I think he'd be counteracting with him just swinging way past it on 16.
And I'm imagining as, like, if you were to read the physical copy, like, you end the page on one and then you have to actively turn the page and then you see the swing back. And I feel like it would have even more impact.
Right.
As you're physically reading it.
I'm interested how they're going to break that up in the animated. Because I'm wondering if the animated, they do this little bottom panel, or if they cut that, show him swinging past it, and then show this.
Because I like the cut. I feel like the cut emphasizes it even more.
Yeah. And then, just, we don't see it yet, but we kind of get the precursor of it. These motherfuckers are starting to get Dragon Ball Z on it, like with the instant transmission shit. We're gonna see it later, where it's like the stereotype of like, it's like, oh, they're moving so fast, you can't see their moves. You can't be caught by the human eye, but I can see everything. Let me narrate it. They've thrown 6,000 punches.
Right. Which part are you talking about here? What hints to that? Is it...
Because it's when Sanji's talking to him, and then all of a sudden, boom, guy shows up and hits him.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
No precursor or anything, just appears.
Yeah.
And 1 down, 2 to go. And then getting a call back to the whistle, because the whistle's brought up before. It's like, blow it and I'll help you. And then it's like, let's bring it back to your attention. You might have forgotten about it since it happened like a volume or 2 ago.
Yeah, it was a good way to call back to it, so that we were like, oh, that's why he has a whistle and that's why he's using it.
And then the slow realization to, oh my god, I'm gonna die blowing the whistle.
Yeah.
Hilarious. And I do like that bad guy's character design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the angels are kind of dumb, but it's the Skypeans. It's like they all have the wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a comment on that later on, where basically I say sometimes it's hard to take them seriously with the little wings in the back, and the wings are so small.
Yeah.
Because the character design of this character definitely gives me like the Dragoons from the Final Fantasy
Yeah,
series.
I was thinking Sid. Sid's a Dragoon, right?
And some of them I think he is. A lot of them he's a brawler.
Well, this guy's definitely giving Sid too. He's definitely giving a little Final Fantasy VII Sid, I think.
But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. I don't know why, but I could not take Hattori.
Satori?
Satori?
Yeah.
The ball boy?
Yeah,
Ball boy. Seriously,
Yeah,
all I
Satori.
could think of was Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Like,
I can just now all of his lines in that voice.
bring it on. We'll see who's cookie crumbles. I can't do Meatwad very well, but that was my best effort. I really thought him grabbing Luffy and using Luffy as a flail was pretty badass. I thought that was a cool way to counter Luffy. And yeah, the chaos of this was good. I felt like some certain panels, like we were talking, you wanted to make sure that you understood exactly what was happening when he was grabbing him. I've had this same criticism before. I don't think it's a huge takeaway, but if I was to, pick something out, it'd be like sometimes I have to take a second to really like hone. I have to like lock in to make sure that I'm
You had to zoom into the page to understand what was going on.
Yeah, because I remember early on there was a couple like action sequences with the Lion Rider dude. It was kind of hard to see what was happening.
Right.
It's like, is the lion swiping him? Is he kicking him?
It happens black and white, and you know what a good solution for that is? Animation. So
Yeah.
you take what you can with the medium you prefer. I also really like the environment. I think it's been said a million times before, but Oda really doesn't leave anything behind. He's drawing a tree. He's gonna make sure that tree is wrapped in vines. It's covered in moss. It has texture.
Very intricate.
It has scale.
Oda be drawing panels like Tolkien be describing scenery.
Exactly. It's like you didn't have to do all that, but you did.
Yeah, go off,
I
King.
appreciate it.
And you pointed out the little zoom in on Satori's glasses, and yeah, like it's small, but you can like see the environment kind of reflected in the shades, and yeah, it's good stuff. The sequence in 16 and 17, it doesn't really start on 16, but I guess it's set up there when Sanji remember how Sanji interrupted someone's monologue? I'm sure you do.
Yep.
Well,
yeah.
What goes around comes around.
Karma.
And Sanji gets fucking
Well, the fish dude was asking for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought the damage panel was really fucking like brutal in a good way. I thought like his eyes are wide, the blood is dripping so perfectly.
We hadn't had a panel like that in a while. It feels like
right.
Since like the last important fights.
I thought the little flashback was funny. It's giving you the whistle before the whistle is used. Kind of Chekhov's gun-esque, I guess, from a literary standpoint. But what I really liked was Robin's reaction to this. She says, "What a strange argument." Because, this is not her typical kind of crew. After all the time, I imagine Crocodile did not tell a whole lot of jokes.
She's still getting a lay of the land. Among the Straw Hats.
Like, you guys were fighting over who gets to hold a whistle. And you know what? Luffy, you would just blow the whistle. You absolutely would blow it immediately.
Well, he says, I just want
to
call the old man right now.
Yeah. I just want to please.
I need to do this. I have no sense of self-control.
We've all been there a time or two, probably.
Oh, yeah.
And then the chopper sequence was cute. It was funny. It was cool. I also like Shura's design. Well, before I get to my final thoughts on the chapter, I do want to. The SBS has Afro Zoro, and I thought that was worth calling out.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for Afro Zoro. I never knew I needed it, but I always did. Overall, I think this chapter was generally good, and it had some excellent moments. Sanji getting cooked mid-monologue and then the chopper bit were great ways to end this. I thought the two of those being kind of like the bookend here. And I also kind of like that this fight has the looming specter of the ship floating away behind it. Like, they cannot devote all of their resources, even like mental resources, their attention to this guy, or they can't devote it all to the boat. They have conditions. Yeah. It's a conditional battlefield. And I like that in all things, and especially here I think it works really well, especially having Usopp kind of chase after it, gets to use his gadgets. Shout out to Usopp in this chapter. I thought that was done well. It was interesting. That's all I had. 248's V.
I'm going to say this only once more because I don't want to belabor the point, but I have no pity whatsoever for Wapol. I don't care how pathetic he looks, eating toys under a bridge like a stupid ass troll. I don't care. He can perish. That is all. Moving on.
That dog's still pissing on him.
He is. Oh my god.
It's the same dog.
He's like, this smells familiar. Let me pee on it again.
I own you.
So from what we can see over pages 2 and 3, the Sky Knight brought Konus and Pagaya somewhere safe and away from the threat they were facing back in Angel Island. We hadn't had clear closure as far as that was concerned yet, so I'm happy that we're seeing that. Without getting into too much detail about it, I did quite like the conversation that occurs between them all over pages 4 and 5 about pirates, morality, perspective. I have to say, though, I am curious to find out who are the pirates the Sky Knight has befriended 20 years ago. Do we know that?
I have my suspicion.
Okay, but we don't know for sure.
You've had some hints,
We've had hints, eh? Okay.
I wouldn't say it's anything that's been blatant.
Blatantly, okay. But yes, that did something to my brain where I was like, oh, okay, wait. I'm picking up crumbs. Little crumbs of information. We have a bit more lore dropping at page 6 as the Sky Knight talks about the Song of the Island, but it's soon interrupted by Pierre shrieking, signaling the need for them to leave and go save a cute little chopper boy. just a little bit of a panel shout out at the bottom of page 6. I love the shot of him watering his pumpkins. I don't know why. It is so scenic. It's giving Studio Ghibli. It's giving like homey, and like I want to be there. I want to be watching him water his pumpkins. It felt very wholesome.
That's a cute call out. I like that.
At page 8, Conus confirms that the pumpkins make delicious juice. So I would, of course, want to have some of the pumpkin juice.
I don't know about pumpkin juice.
I'd try it.
Sounds fucking foul.
Yeah.
Oh, you know this thing that's not a fruit that you usually squeeze for juice? We squeeze the shit out of it.
You want some zucchini juice?
In my mind, it tastes like a pumpkin spice latte, okay? Leave me alone.
How about some potato juice? You guys want some of that?
It's called vodka.
No, we haven't even begun.
You ferment it for a couple of months.
Yeah. No, this is just raw potato juice.
Yeah.
The pioneers used to drink this baby for miles.
Starchy. The following pages bring us back to Chopper, who is desperately trying to guard the ship despite the arrival of who we find out is Skyrider Shura and his mount Fusa. Shura and Fusa. We have a nice full body shot of the both of them at page 11. Always appreciate when Oda does that. The next 2 pages give us further explanation about how this area works, and most notably we find out that the sacrificial altar on which Chopper currently stands alone is fair game, and that now a life is owed to the vassals, because the Straw Hats unknowingly broke the rules. What else is new? The Straw Hats breaking the rules?
Well, hold on.
Well, I mean, they weren't really aware of the rules.
Yeah.
In this case, so it's not fair.
Yeah, I think the rules are purposely ambiguous.
Yeah.
There's no attempt to explain the rules.
They're clear to the locals. The locals are very knowledgeable about that, but kind of the whole point is that it seems like they feed on, like, it's been told several times that the newcomers or the strangers are kind of who everyone goes after, right?
Yeah.
Those are the prey, in essence. So
it's kind of like Deliverance-esque. Like, you ain't from around here.
Yeah. But just in the nick of time, as Shura's burning spear pokes right into Chopper's shoulder, leave him alone. Leave him alone. The Sky Knight arrives. Woohoo!
Yippee!
And we get a fantastic couple of panels at the tops of page 16 and 17. Super dynamic. Lots of movement, particularly the one at page 17 as they're both in flight. I thought was just a cool
Oh yeah, this was
shot.
a cool sequence.
Yeah. And like the way that he's kind of riding on Pierre's wings like he would like a board of sorts, as if he's like surfing, basically. I just thought that was cool. And then the fight between the Sky Knight and Shura continues, and as the chapter ends at page 19, it seems as though the Sky Knight has the upper hand, and Chopper is amazed by it.
Yeah.
Just by the look of his little face at the bottom of 19. SBS time. I liked having a bit more information about Smoker and Hina, both individually and about their dynamic as they were recruited at the same time. I think that was an interesting little bit of lore drop, which kind of highlights that little bit of a rivalry, like a respect but rivalry to their relationship. Which we saw more of at the end of the Alabasta arc. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting tidbit of information. That's what I had for 248. Dylan?
Oh yeah, and then SBS even kind of talks about like White Day and Pink Day. It's like how they do Valentine's.
Oh yeah?
Looks like on the one day the girls give gifts to the guys, and then when the next day comes around, the guys give gifts to the girls.
I don't see that.
And it talks about the dates they were recruited.
Yeah. That's
Like
their
guys'
birthdays.
day, girls' day.
That's their birthdays, I think.
Oh, was it their birthdays? Okay, I thought it was the days they joined. No, they joined at the same time. No, anyway. So.
Yeah, no, but I see exactly what you're talking about now.
But yeah, have like the slow, like the music in the background, the slow reveal as like you come into seeing this little pumpkin patch. Definitely gives like Stardew Valley vibes.
Oh yeah.
Pretty hard. Kind of, it's like, oh, we get to go see the farm.
I could totally see myself playing a farming kind of sim taking place in like a Sky Island styled place.
Oh yeah.
Like, and it would look very similar to this. Absolutely.
Well, again, I still love Sky Knight's design. Sky Knight's design is fucking rad.
Yeah.
It reminds me of kind of like how his arms and legs are so spindly, but his armor is so big and bulbous.
Big and bulbous.
Reminds me of, I think the character's name is Steiner from Final Fantasy IX.
Okay, yeah.
The knight guy.
He's not particularly, like, lanky,
But you look at his arms... But you look at his arms and legs, they're small.
Compared to his armor,
they're thin, yeah. But that dude hits like a brick shithouse. Like, do not sleep on Steiner. That motherfucker hits. And then he kind of talks, it's like, man, when I was Kami, I almost, like, made peace. It's like, kinda, it seems like the whole conflict between the Skypians and the Shandians, and how he explains it, everything, it really, really feels like America and the Native Americans. Like, the United States and the Native Americans. And it's, because this whole thing is like, I just want to, like, that's like, if we give them their land back and we're peaceful, we can start, trading and coexisting, but we need to give them their land. We got greedy and we took it from them instead of working alongside them to raise crops and stuff. And it's like, and then you get to see later, it's like, but generation after generation or generation of this leads to these newest generation that are the warriors now being super radical and be like,
totally
aggressive. They're all our enemies. Yeah, we're going to take out everyone and then we'll finally have our land back the way it's supposed to be. Yeah. Which I think that's kind of how the Shawnee, I think it was the Shawnee, or the Cheyenne. It was the Shawnee and the Cheyenne, like, during the railroad building, it was like, you're destroying our land, so we're going to kill everyone who comes in this land until you stop coming to our land and ruining it.
No, what's the flag where they'll take prisoners? Is it the skull and crossbones? Or does that mean you probably know better?
Yeah, a black flag means we will take no prisoners.
Yeah, they're flying their black flag at all times. And I think that's a good call out, I think seeing them as truly a force that is ready to fight anyone and everyone is a good characterization. I like that.
And then the bottom shot, like when it's like, oh, the whistle's been heard, time to get into action. Like stepping onto the mount, putting the helmet on, was pretty badass. I like that a lot. Watch this place, duty calls. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna drink all your pumpkin juice while you're gone, old man.
Yeah.
I don't even like pumpkin juice.
Father, this pumpkin juice is so delicious. You mean pumpkin soup?
Oh, I need pumpkin soup.
Oh yeah, but juice and soup are different. I don't have time to get into the nuance of it.
I was gonna ask. I was like, is a hot dog a sandwich? Like, let's get into it.
Yeah, I'm fine with a hot dog being a sandwich.
It's a meat between breads. And then I'm just gonna point out, bottom left of 8, guy's got pliers, but I don't see like a bolt or anything in sight.
I think he's tending to the crops. There may be like clippers.
Well, no, I think he's working. No, he's working on the wave dasher.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he sure is.
And he's just has pliers, and there's no bolts.
He's just pretending to work on it, so it looks like he knows what he's doing.
And it's like, no, this thing runs perfect. I'm just gonna smash a hammer on it a bit and take credit for doing it, and charge you $600 for labor.
Yeah. All you did was hit it with a hammer repeatedly. Mm-hmm. Never ran better.
Yeah, the mechanic gloves, when those go on, it's $100.
Yeah.
And then Chopper doing his utmost to fight the fire is nice because he feels responsible for it, and it's nice to see.
My baby.
And then seeing what the rocks actually look like, it's like, oh, you're like fire-breathing vultures. 1, fire-breathing is scary. 2, vultures are ugly as sin.
I think it's kind of badass, though.
I mean, yeah, kind of. It's like this should be on a metal cover.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like that design for Shura, like Dragoon / Red Baron, because the bomber jacket and the goggles and the moustache.
It's definitely a character I could see you like creating.
Yeah. And the line, if you care so much about living, why are you so weak? It's like, that's kind of a bit of a dumb line in my opinion. But the superheated, like, because I'm curious. Because I'm wondering if the vassal, because, like, I think even when Sanji got hit, there was, like, a hissing and a sizzling when he got hit with the guy's palm. I don't know if it's, like, they have a chance, they can heat up materials they touch.
I don't remember there being a sizzle with Sanji. There might have been, I could go back and look, but I know that this guy specifically has heated up his
spear, yeah. Because when you look at it, it's not even fire, because when he first stabs into the thing, all you see is smoke, and then it pops, because you sizzle, and then boom. It's like, all right, you had enough heat to it, now it ignites.
I believe he's using his bird's fire breathing to...
Yeah, his mount is pretty badass, actually.
And then Chopper is starting to put 2 and 2 together. It's like, what's with this guy? It's like he can predict my every move. Which we'll get more about that later. And then we get the whole backstory. It's like, no, we're each limited to our own kill zones. We can't interfere in other people's kill zone. But this is like the pregame lobby.
Yeah, anything goes.
For like a battle royale, I'm killing everybody. We're shooting at them because they can't die, but I'm being violent. And then the bottom of 15, he gets the stab. It kind of makes you think he's going to be cooked. But then you see him going in for the kill blow, and you see Sky Knight coming in behind. I like that shot a lot. It's a good one. And the good news about that stab wound is he probably doesn't need to bandage it. It's probably cauterized.
Yeah.
It's like a white sable, but a spiel.
It's willy cool.
And then the fight between the Sky Knight and Shura is just fucking dope. I really love it.
It is cool.
And this is where we first get to see what I was talking about earlier. Bottom panel with that middle on 18. Guy looks over his shoulder to track him, and then you see just the faint lines of him doing like the instant transmission thing, and then he appears behind him and lights his ass up.
They're just moving faster than you could see.
Yeah. They've actually thrown 6,000 blows. But yeah, it was cool. So yeah, that fight was a lot of fun. I like that. I could see that. I would be okay with that being drawn out a little more.
Yeah.
That would be fun to see animated too, like just with the birds flying and stuff.
Especially if they dragged it out and it's like, let's make this a 10-minute fight.
Oh, I'm sure they probably do.
Yeah, let's put some emphasis on that for sure.
And I liked the bottom of the SBS where like the guy was looking at the Rainmaker ship and I was like, oh, is that the same thing as like the bike? Because they look really, there's a similarities between the two of them. And he's like, well, Billower, like I know in where you're from, Billower is probably like a billowing smokestack. Out here, no, billowing just means wave.
Oh, you mean like in Japan?
Yeah. It's like this large wave, which is why the tires are extra wide. It's like I intend to use them in a story someday, whenever someday is. I have a feeling it's probably never going to come up again.
I can't remember if it does or not.
But yeah, that's all I have on that chapter.
Right on. The Caunus, Pagaya, and Sky Knight being together, I don't remember if that was hinted at last volume or the one before that. Did we get any kind of explanation as to why they're together? I know Pagaya was being targeted because she was helping them, but I don't... Are we just assuming that he
Caunus was being targeted by the rest of the people on Angel Island because...
Yeah, and then he saved Caunus, so then he became an outlaw.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Because he swooped in and saved her before the laser beam.
Yeah, I think it's just the end of a chapter. Like it's only over like 2 pages or something, but yeah, it does happen.
Okay. And then another thing that I wasn't sure if we had seen before, he says something along the lines of when he was still Kami. Did we know that he had held any kind of such title or what have you previously?
I don't think so. I think he expands on it later in this volume. But I think this is the first time that we know that he actually was the Kami. Before then, we only know him as the Sky Knight, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
As far as I can recall.
So overall, I thought this little interaction had like a really chill but interesting and compelling vibe. There's not a whole lot of action happening. And normally I don't always vibe with just info dumps, but this one was just peaceful. It was nice. And I liked hearing what they had to say. I thought it really set up an interesting kind of background for what we're kind of embarking into.
It felt organic in a way to do the info dumping. It didn't feel like it was coming out of the blue, and the environment was so cozy.
It can.
Yeah,
like it definitely can. But yeah, I'm right there with you. This felt good. This felt like a great way to give us all this extra information. Yeah, and then Chopper. I mean, my heart goes out to him. He's trying so hard, and like seeing the mast fall, seeing the burnt stick of the mast. Really,
and he's by himself. He's just a baby.
I thought this part was done really well, though. I feel like maybe there could have been more like bigger moments. I felt like for what it is, it's going a little fast because like I want to see Chopper kind of like he is on, let me find it here, at the bottom of page 9 on the left, like when he's trying his best to hold things together. I don't know, I just wanted to see more. I wanted to see more of these like emotional moments. At the top of 9 is a good one too. I don't know. I felt like the pace of this was odd, or at least it's not what I would have wanted to see, I guess would be a better way to put it. But overall I liked it, and I really, felt for Chopper during this whole thing. Like, it's stressful. This was stressful, seeing this little guy try so hard to keep everything together when really he has such a little grasp on the situation at hand. But yeah, I really like the design of Shura. We've kind of talked about that a couple times, but when it gives you the full introduction of him, that was good. He's very Sky Knight-esque. Less armor, more padding, I guess. More like sky-themed apparel, like pilot type of stuff. So it's interesting that he is kind of modeled after Sky Knight, maybe a foil for Sky Knight. And a good opponent for him. Like, this is exactly kind of what I wanted to see Sky Knight do, is duel on the back of these creatures going back and forth. So I will also agree with you guys that the fight was really cool. It's not something we'd really seen in One Piece. It was novel to this point. You know, flying mounted combat with no like super special powers. It's just like steel on steel. It was raw. I like that.
And it is giving like medieval jousting vibes a little bit, but
yeah,
in the sky.
A mystical jungle,
Yeah.
altar hidden. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. The whole thing's cool. Overall, I'm so proud of Chopper for doing his damnedest. You know, at first I was feeling like, oh no, this little guy, he's in over his head, but maybe he handled it exactly as he needed to, and with a little bit of help from a friend. Like, go Sky Knight. Like, the top of 17 is so sick. Like, the way the camera is behind him, the way he's crouched on the bird.
Yeah. It's such a good shot.
in the background. And, like, yeah, that's sick. And, yeah, I think some of it gets a little unclear, a little difficult to exactly suss out what's happening. I still like much of the art of the fight throughout. So, the lore dump at the beginning was well done. It didn't feel forced. I'm reading this verbatim. The info that was given was interesting. Chopper all alone is a little sad, but he handled the situation as best he can. I loved that. And then, of course, the fight was awesome. This was a great chapter. I thought this was really good. 249 is V.
So the fight between Shura and Ganfor, although I still prefer to call him the Sky Knight, and I probably will default to that.
I think we've been over this, but there is a translation kind of thing. It's Ganfor, Ganfall. I think that might be how L's and R's are handled in the Japanese language, right?
Okay.
Something like that.
The Sky Knight.
Yeah, you can call him whatever you want. I don't care. I'm not.
Yeah, so the fight between Shura and the Sky Knight continues, and I don't have a whole lot of comments for the beginning of the chapter. I am noting that Shura announces String Challenge at the bottom of page 4, which tells me that he is the vassal of the String Challenge, one of the options that the Straw Hats that had to pick from when they first came in. I think because we had a discussion about which one would you pick, and I think I had picked the String Challenge in terms of which one I would pick, or the Challenge of the Swamp, but I'm not sure anymore.
I don't think anyone picked Swamp.
No, I think Swamp in my head was my second choice, but I have thoughts. I have thoughts about the vassal of the Swamp guy. Anyway, I'll get into it later. Oh, he freaks me out.
I don't like him neither.
Oh. Anyway, the next 2 pages introduce us to new characters as well as a new environment. I have to say, so just starting at page 5. So I really did like the way it was introduced, with who we find out is Aisa. Hopping from cloud to cloud, looking left and right, and then she dives into one of the clouds to end up in the hidden cloud village. I really liked the way that kind of played out. I enjoy the dynamic between Aisa and Kamakiri, like hardened warrior and bratty child.
Hardened Wario.
You guys are the worst. Hardened warrior. Oh, he's a veteran.
Vietnam Wario.
Yeah. But yeah, hardened warrior and bratty child is kind of one of my favorite tropes. I just like it. And so, okay, seeing the mask at the bottom of page 7 illustrates that the warrior that first intervened when the Straw Hats showed up in Skypiea was part of this group. How do we pronounce that? Shandian?
Shandian.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I had a note that says, I need Dylan's expertise at page 8. Is that a gun? A cannon?
It looks like it's modeled after the M1 bazooka.
Okay.
But the way the handles are set up, it's meant to be gripped.
We see it shot a time or two.
Yeah, we do.
It's like if you see it, like it's meant to be like you have your backhand by your hip, and then you have the front hand out forward.
Yeah. Whatever it is, it's big, and it looks like whatever will come out of it will shatter your bones and your entire body.
I just want to say that natives, like, clearly they're representative of some kind of native population with fucking rocket launchers is such a crazy Mad Lib kind of.
I kind of dig
deal.
it though. I kind of dig it.
Yeah, it's fucking sick the way they like skate around with their fucking rocket launchers.
Yeah, that's dope. Oh, actually, it might because I think they've found like it's like cannons that had those kind of grips on it, not like a full ship cannon, but a pretty big one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think there is an instance where they had one where it's like it was meant so like a person could board a ship with it and then shoot it on the ship, but it's like if you did that, you'd fucking
the recoil on that would probably
like break your freaking shoulder.
Yeah.
I actually went to the Graveyard of the Atlantic Museum today, and I saw some of the recovered items, and I saw a hand cannon.
Cool.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. Okay. So page 8, the tribal tattoos on Wiper. Is that the way? Okay.
Yeah, it's Wiper.
The tribal tattoos on Wiper are giving late 90s, early 2000s, and then I'm reminded that
he listens to Tool.
That's exactly when that was published, so that checks out. We then get more lore about the recent history of Angel Island and Skypiea, the rivalry between the Kami and the Shandian, and the Sky Knight's involvement in all of this. We also get a really good shot of the baddie at the top of page 10. She is super pretty. I don't like I like that her traits are drawn in a much sharper way than most of the other female characters we've seen so far. Yeah, I don't know. And then, yeah, so as Wiper reiterates his stance on the Sky Knight and how he's not considered an ally, we also find out that her name is Rocky. Also, apparently Wiper is a bit of a tyrant, considering the way people talk about him and how, Asa? I still don't know. I want to say
whatever
Asa.
you say is going to be acceptable.
Says that he's scarier than Akami. We join the other half of the Straw Hats, and through Robin's observations at page 12, we get a bit more detail on the world they're currently in. It seems as though they're a remnant of a civilization that has been overtaken by nature. At page 13, Nami looks surprised as she says, "This island, no way." We do end up finding out what happens, but at that time we do not know what has happened or what she has seen. And then the rest of this chapter takes us back to Chopper and the fight between the Sky Knight and Shura. I have a few highlights. Overall, I'm a big fan of the way it's drawn with the movement lines. Another moment that I'd like to see animated, because it's so lively and dynamic, I would be curious to see what it is when it's actually moving. I like seeing the close-ups on all three characters' faces as the tension rises, announcing the height of the fight at the bottom of page 15. And then as it all progresses, the fight is kind of overlapped by moments on Angel Island and Pagaya telling Konas that he intends on helping the Straw Hats escape. I think he's talking about the Straw Hats here.
He just says those people.
Yeah.
I would assume that.
Yeah, and I feel like that the interspacing of the fight with moments on the island does really well in building the tension of the fight. And sure enough, as we reach page 17, the Sky Knight realizes that he suddenly feels really heavy, that he can't move anymore, and that Shura must have done something to him. At the bottom of page 17, when Shura says, "A dying man needs no answer," that was cold as fuck.
He's kind of an asshole.
That was cruel. That's mean. That's just mean. And yeah, the last two pages, so the spread over pages 18 and 19, I thought was magnificent. It is so epic and heartbreaking all at once as you see Shura stabbing the Sky Knight in the chest with Chopper just staring in horror, and his monologue goes hard as fuck as it's overlaid on super expressive and poignant panels. Even a withered old has-been you can enter the upper yard, but don't think for a moment that you can overcome the vassal's challenges. Inaru is all powerful, you'll never reach his height. That one pretty
with the panels, panels highlighting it.
Yeah, that was a good 2-page spread there. I would say that image mostly on page 18 it might end up in my favorite panels. We'll see. It's a really good one. But yeah, that's what I had for 249. No specific call outs for the SBS in this one. Dylan?
Yup. But yeah, seeing the fight pick up again was dope, and then kind of seeing how it's not just these riders who are super skilled; it's also their mounts. Because you see, his mount catch him, but not only did it catch him, it's got his lance and its beak. It's oh, I got you, and I got your weapon too.
Yeah, I got you.
Let's get back in the fight.
They're actively helping. They're not just there as mounts.
Yeah, it's not just some dumb draft animal. But then I get to see Hidden Cloud Village, that's kind of cool, seeing the aesthetics of that. And of course, the little girl's sneaking around doing stuff she shouldn't be.
Shady-ass little kids.
Yeah. I will say, there's a weird... His weapon's weird. Like, the more I look at it, the more it's like it doesn't really...
The rocket launcher thing?
Makes sense, yeah.
I mean, it is fantasy weapon.
Because, yeah, true, but it's like, it's top of 9. You get to see the underside of it. It's like, that kind of looks like it's a magazine well. Is it a magazine well, or is it like a shoulder pad? It's just darkly shaded.
A magazine-fed bazooka is kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, very much so. Also, it'll be interesting if we get to see, probably won't, but it'll be interesting to see if it takes into effect a backblast.
I don't know how deep they're going to get with the physics of it all.
Probably not, but... He's giving me the vibes, because with the tattoos and everything, I can't remember the name of the first antagonist you fight, or that you really get to fight in Far Cry 4.
Voss? Vought?
Voss, yeah. Voss or Vought, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like the leader of the pirates.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I get that.
But he's kind of got the same vibe.
He's giving that guy in Pocahontas, like the guy that Pocahontas is supposed to marry, Kokum. He ends up getting shot.
Oh, it's kind of cool. I do like seeing all the shots that we get, like when we get introduced to, like, not the big name people, but it's like kind of like the side warrior characters. And like he clearly puts out, it's like, no, they're warriors because what they do in their spare time is maintain their weapons. Because we saw, what's his name, sharpening his blades. This guy's kind of doing a once-over on his pistol, which looks like a Derringer. A little pocket Derringer was a two-shot pistol. Really popular amongst the ladies because they could fit in a tiny purse. And then looking around the jungle, you see Robin doing her archaeology thing, and then Nami makes a discovery. Back to the fight. Fight's super cool. And then I guess we're seeing the effects of the string challenge. You see, he instantly realizes something's wrong. He can't react. And then, Scoundrel, what did you do? A dying man needs no answers. Is a pretty hard fucking line.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Yeah.
And then we get the full page panel of the stab, which is awesome. Great shot. It's like, you'll never reach his heights, Sky Knight. It's like, well, no, you're wrong, because he was a commie. And I saw something funny in the SBS. I didn't read any of it, but I saw the whole Tomato Gang thing. I was like, Michael probably like that.
Yeah, I did like that.
But yeah, that's all I got. A lot of information being put out, and a lot of really flashy and fun fight scene panels.
All right. We start off with the fight continuing. It looks like Sky Knight has gotten a nice hit in. I would have loved to have seen it. Like I don't see why you would.
Yeah.
I don't see why you would cut that out. You know why leave that to the imagination when it would take like one more panel to give us that? I think it would have been really cool. Would have added something here.
I think it's Oda's weird hang-ups on certain things.
Yeah, probably. Why. You're probably right. But yeah, the Shandian village I thought was really neat. I've always kind of had a special spot in my heart for that. I think it's mostly known for natives in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, up around Washington, British Columbia, in Canada too. That particular area
with the totems.
But it did have me running to Wikipedia because I started looking at the totem poles and the cool ass. I don't know if TP is the right word, but that's what I grew up knowing them as. My understanding per Wikipedia is that totem poles, while they look like super like religious and stuff, they actually did not have religious meaning. They told stories. They like kept like histories and stuff through them. Again, it's very abstract in some ways. In some ways it's not. But yeah, it wasn't something that was like worshipped or used in, or maybe it was occasionally, but that wasn't its like main focus. They were, they're just like cool ass fucking memoirs of the past. And I thought that was really neat.
If you guys ever come visit in my town, there's the Canadian Museum of History. And there's a whole gallery of like actual totem poles. They're gigantic, but basically they're
so cool.
They have a bunch of real totem poles all in a big gallery, and it's beautiful. It's so nice.
Yeah, that shit's cool. I've been to one of the Smithsonian's, one of the art museum Smithsonian's.
The Smithsonian's are dope.
I just think they're super badass.
They're really, really cool.
But yeah, I really like the Shandians. Every single one of them kind of gives me a little bit of like badass in their own way. Some of them are a little bit more sensitive than others, clearly. But I like them. I like the vibes. I like the rocket launcher. I like that they're armed to the teeth. I think that's kind of badass too. Good for them.
I'm just noticing that he's smoking a cigarette, and that feels a little
Yes,
on the
and
nose.
Exactly. God, we can't go a volume without a couple cigarettes.
No, yeah.
And like
either
new
from
people's
Sanji
mouths.
or another character. Yeah.
But this whole scene was kind of interesting. Now, you didn't say anything about it, but I know that sometimes in the past you have been concerned about whiplash with characters. I don't know if you're feeling that here, but I will let you know some of them, like, it may benefit your ultimate understanding of the finer points of the story to know who they are, what they're doing, and all that. But again, just like Baroque works, I wouldn't try to dig too deep into the weeds. The ones that are the most important will make themselves known, and
They
then
make
the
it
ones
obvious
who are less
eventually,
important
yeah.
will add some spice to the story if you can identify them and whatnot. But I wouldn't like prioritize trying to
Okay.
And then we get this another little scene that I would love to have seen more right then and there. I know Oda wants to leave things for later, but I would have loved to have seen what Nami saw. I don't want to wait. I want to know now.
It's such a good reveal, though.
I know. I really like what's coming.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see it. Because I couldn't remember what she saw when I was first going through. I was like, what does Nami do in this arc? What is her
And
goal?
it's funny because it's just 2 pages out of the whole volume where we're back with those characters. It's only like a fleeting moment.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Like what's
It's
quote
giving you a
unquote, what's
little
the point
build-up.
of having it there? But yeah, no, I get it.
Put this in the next volume. Give me some more of the Sky Knight Shura fight. That's how I would do it. I don't know whether I'm right or wrong is a different question. But yeah, I really like this little. Again, the placement may have left something to be desired, but I thought it was interesting seeing Zoro and Robin and Nami. It's actually nice that it's Zoro with the 2 ladies and not like Sanji or Luffy, because I feel like the 3 of them can kind of vibe on a similar wavelength. It doesn't have to be like nonsense or goofing or anything like that, So yeah, I thought that was a good quick little thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of it. And then yes, the fight was intense. Lots of great art. Again, kind of going quick, and I think that's intentional here, so I'll let it slide. But certain times I was like, wait, what happened? As always, super good stuff. And yeah, overall the plot thickens a little bit here. I really liked the Shandians being introduced in full effect. This chapter continues like what I would say, like zooming out to kind of encompass the larger plot that's going on here. It does it well. I don't think I'm being hit with too much at once. And it was all interesting. I thought the ending was wild. The last 2 pages was great art, great storytelling, and I really, really enjoyed this chapter. I've really enjoyed this volume so far, and yeah, 250 is V.
Yeah. So this chapter starts off with the fallout of the events of the previous one, as we witness the Sky Knight fall into the water after having been stabbed by Shura, and Chopper dives in to try to save him, my brave little boy. I love Chopper so much. And like, I only love him more. I love him more every single time I see him.
This is good Chopper stuff.
It's good Chopper stuff. He's being brave, and I'm really proud of him for that. At the top of page 4, Shura states that Pierre is also a Zoan. So, Zoans are the same as Chopper, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I could have sworn they gave a more proper introduction to it.
Yeah.
But they're hinting at the different types of devil fruits.
Yeah. So we know that Pierre has different forms. Like, we've seen him in his like unicorn form,
and so does Chopper.
Yeah, and we've seen him in his bird form, but we've never heard him speak a human language. But that's because Chopper ate the human fruit
and is kind of just generally smart.
Yeah.
He's intelligent.
Yeah, I guess because I didn't make the association instantly because Pierre wasn't speaking, but in retrospect it makes sense because they're not exactly the same circumstances. But yeah, so they're both Zoan. So Pierre also falls into the water, although we don't see clearly whether or not he's been stabbed, and the silence sets in before we hop back to the group with Satori over on page 6. That shot of the bubble dragon bottom of page 8. No, well, I really like it.
Right.
So there's a bottom
6.
of 6 and then 8 where we get like a better idea of what the bubble dragon looks like. I really like that idea. It's giving like the Chinese dragon dances and stuff, like just the way that they look. Yeah, but it's specifically the one at the bottom of page 6 with Luffy laying on the ground in front of it and just the dragon in the background was pretty cool. Top of page 7 shows all 3 boys clearly struggling. And the portrait that Satori paints of what their fate might be at the bottom of the page, actually, as he says that they'll wander the forest until they die, is very dire. Mm-hmm. I would hate that. It's giving me anxiety just thinking of it. It's giving Backrooms, and I don't like it.
Oh, Backrooms, but it's a forest?
Right? Pages 8 and 9 give us more information about the way the ball dragon works, and at page 10, Luffy rather cleverly hops onto the string that is controlling it. I like the 2 panels in the middle of page 10 where we see Luffy run up the side of the cliff and then jump back to grab the string. Also with the yoink onomatopoeia. I love that. Yeet. That was just really funny. Yoink. Yeah. Chaos inevitably ensues, and the middle of page 12 offers us a huge explosion, and for a moment Satori thinks that he got the best of Luffy, but nope. There he is at the bottom of page 13. And he's like, man, that was close. And Satori's like, you're alive?
I love the little panel just above that where you can see Luffy's tiny little self just clinging to the back.
Yeah, that was funny. Page 14 as a whole, I liked it a lot. When we first see Usopp bolting away at page 9, we could be led to think that once again he's succumbed to cowardice, but no. He's not a coward. He climbed up as high as he could to find the exit. And I just love seeing Usopp's bravery blooming. I'm here for that character development. I'm placing my bets on Usopp having really good character development, and I'm really excited for it because I really started off not liking him. I think he would have been one of my least favorite Straw Hats from the get-go, but quickly he is becoming one of my favorite. I really like Usopp, and I'm here.
I had a similar progression, kind of. Honestly, I didn't like him through most of my first read through, and I feel like I got kind of locked in to a thought process and just never left it behind. I didn't let some of the progression, because again, this whole story takes place from where it began to now is just a couple of months. It's not even a year, and progress takes time. So I don't think it's too spoilery to say that you will see moments of cowardice from him yet. He's not overnight. But yeah, I'm really appreciating kind of going through it slower with you guys, and yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Usopp.
Yeah. I never thought I would become one of those people that really likes Usopp, but I suppose that I am. We will see. Bottom of page 15 and top of page 16, we have a couple of good Sanji panels here. I will say
still managed
that whole thing about damsels waiting for rescue.
Right.
Eye roll. And that's rich coming from the guy that was upset about Nami having a shirt on while she was actively in danger. I still have a hard time with that one, guys. I got on my soapbox earlier, but I still don't like it. Speaking of feminist soapboxes, I'm gonna hop on one briefly, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
There's this idea that you can't judge whether a man truly sees women as equals based off of the way that he treats the women he's attracted to or that are part of his family. If the only women that he treats well are the women that he is sexually attracted to or women in his family, he is not a feminist. Right? And I don't have a clear hypothesis about Sanji as far as that's concerned, but that's just something to keep in mind. Some might argue that he doesn't even treat the women he's attracted to all that well. He still very much objectifies them, and I don't know.
No, it's the one you're sexually attracted to you should treat like dirt.
Yeah, it's called negging, and they love it.
That's what they like.
Yeah.
Don't even fucking get me started on negging. It's also It's also incredibly manipulative and cruel.
Yes. It is manipulative. Shut up, Bing Bong. That was nagging, by the way.
Good job, bud.
Yeah.
Baby's first neg.
Yeah.
You're a poopy head.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I bet
funny.
your farts stink.
Oh, guys. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I did enjoy the analogy of the peppercorn being broken in one strike to release the full extent of its flavor. Before Sanji swings a concasse kick over Satori's head, we have a nice 2-page spread over pages 18 and 19.
How's it
What is concasse?
concasse?
Yeah, thank you.
That should be concasseur.
Concasse is to break down in fine pieces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he is pepper grinding.
Yes,
this motherfucker.
exactly. That's exactly it. Because in French, you would say for ground pepper, you would say poivre concassé.
Okay.
Yeah, but yes, so we get that nice 2-page spread over 18 and 19, paying some attention to the way that Satori's face looks with Sanji's shoe over it on the left side with the teeth missing. That's a good panel. It is a satisfying end after Satori had spent the previous page basically begging for his life like a little bitch while Luffy was holding him still. Oh, anyway, yeah, I love when a chapter ends on that kind of like very impactful, action-packed panel. I like that. It's a satisfying ending. Yeah, but that's it. I didn't have any notes for this SBS. Dylan?
Yes, read. I will say with the Wapol, like, I don't think we'll see the rest of it, but for this session, but I do like how it's like he's eating all this garbage and it's like spitting out junk, but the kids in the town are like, oh my god, it's so cool.
The junk's kind of cool, actually, though.
It is
yeah,
kind of
because
cool.
that night dude kind of reminds me of Vivi from Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah. Is Vivi a human underneath all that clothes? Like, is that ever...
From what you're told in the story, it seems like the person who was making the combat mage dolls, but Vivi was kind of like the special one he made. So everything was based off of him, but this is the one he made, and he like because he's always talking about like, oh, I used to live with my grandpa before my grandpa died, and it's kind of like, no, he created you, but he didn't create you as like one of these combat dolls. He created you as like a child for him to raise. So it's like, no, he's not human. He's
a doll.
Yeah, but he has a soul.
Right. Have you beaten 9?
Have I beaten it? No, I think I've gotten really far. 9's a massive game.
Yeah.
Like, in PlayStation, it came on 4 discs. I want to say it's probably like an 80 to 100-hour game.
Well, that's a long game, eh?
Yeah. Great game, though. Awesome
That's
game.
Final Fantasy for you.
Yeah, because I usually, like, for me, for a long game, the sweet spot is around 40 hours.
Even that's a long game.
Long. That's short.
But that's what I mean. For a long game, like 40 hours is what I expect.
The price I'm paying, I want 60.
Like playing through Ocarina of Time, for example, is about, between 35 and 40 hours of gameplay.
No, Ocarina of Time is not 30 hours.
Yeah, that's like a 20-hour game.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, maybe if you take your time and do everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you were just doing the dungeons, you could blow through that game.
Well,
really
maybe
fast.
Majora's Mask then, because Majora's Mask has a lot of side... Well,
the time mechanic does extend the game.
Yeah, but you're right. I think Ocarina of Time maybe is closer to 20-25 hours. But, like, I'm also used to play, like, short horror games that are, like, 2 hours long. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
right. I think that games have gotten really bloated lately. Like, back in, like, just after graduating high school when I had, hours and hours to devote to fucking like Oblivion or Skyrim and shit like that, a 60-hour game is exactly what I wanted. But these new like Assassin's Creed games, for example, where you get like 80 hours of content and I just don't care about half the content.
Well, that's the issue, is the way they do it now to get that time thing is just throw shitloads of repetitive gameplay at you. But we get to see him strike down Sky Knight's mount. And then the line, unfortunately, this river does have a bottom. That whole terminology is that's been kind of confused me a bit. It's like, what do you mean? Like, no bottom, technically it has a bottom.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm 100% understanding exactly how the
because I know
land...
Usopp went in a bit, but I think that's the point where it's like, it has a bottom, and the bottom is the cloud level. Once you go through that, you're going to plummet.
Yeah, so here there does seem to be earth underneath a lot of this, that the trees are growing into.
Well, that's because that's the missing part of Jaya.
Yes.
Is what they're on. It's not normal to the rest of the environment. This is...
Yes.
Chunk of Jaya came up, and that's why we get explanations later. The fact that it's in Skypiea, everything grows at an exponential rate, but we'll get there. And I love bottom of 6, the ball dragon is just super cool, like Chinese Lunar Festival kind of deal. Super cool. Love the look of that. Luffy has kind of figured some stuff out. He does the ball attack. He dodges it, and then you see him yoink it. And he's like, oh shit. Oh, you're controlling this thing with a string. Guess what you did to me? I'm gonna do that shit right back. And I love that. And then there's the shot of the big explosion in the forest. Badass. And like you said, hilarious, just like Luffy hanging onto his back. I mean, because again, this is a lot of fight, but yeah, it could be like you said, Usopp's. He's locked in. It's like, hey, like we've kind of assigned you as you are keep your eye on the boat guy.
He's the best one for that job.
He's going for it. He's like I said earlier. He's understanding like getting a lay of the battlefield is a good idea, and he does it a lot. I feel like even when we first introduced him, he was getting high ground. He would always try and get a high ground and like fight an incoming enemy on a slope, and you're at the top of the slope.
Anakin would still charge his ass.
Yeah, and Anakin would probably kill Usopp. And then we get the Sanji monologue, and it's like, oh, finally we get Sanji being a badass, and then you read more into it, and it's like, we're considering there are a couple of damsels waiting for that. Fuck.
Yeah.
So you had a moment to be cool, and then you made it really fucking cringe. I have my own challenge. A love challenge. It's like, ugh.
Like, that panel would be so cool if he did.
If he said some shit like, it's like, you're just a gyoza. Gyozas are appetizers. I'm a chef. I create masterpieces. And then beats the shit out of him.
That's pretty good, Dylan. Okay.
Yeah, it'd be fucking good. It's like, you're the equivalent of pub food. I'm Michelin star.
Anything. Like, anything was better than what he actually said.
And then Luffy being super self-aware after he's tied him up, being aware of the situation after tied him up. It's like, man, being able to predict their moves must be pretty handy to fight, right? Doesn't really matter because you can't move. It's like, you're going to see that ass kicking coming, and you're going to take it.
Hell yeah.
And the other thing is, like, he was being so, like, badass. He was like, stop, don't you know who I am? I'm a vassal. You can't do this.
You know my father?
He works for Nintendo.
Yeah.
And the whole line, it's like, if you so much lay a hand on me, you're as good as declaring war on the Almighty Emeru. It's like, dude, they already have. Like, they're already like, yeah, no, we're going to beat the guy. Like, even Zolo's like, I want to go talk to this fucking commie dude and beat his ass. Well, like, stop. Ow, I'm not good with pain. It's like, oh.
What the fuck?
That kind of fucking bully.
Yeah.
I was like talking all this shit and pushing down a little person, but then the little guy steps up, punches him in the nose, and he crumples. But the page and a half spread of the axe kick coming down right on the top of the noggin, and then you see his eyes bulge, his glasses break, and his teeth pop out.
The tooth is literally flying through the air right there, yeah.
It's like, it'd be better if you didn't lead it up that cringy fucking monologue. Sokatsuya, the anime voice of Karu, is actually Hiroki Harada, who does Sanji? Huh? It's a lie? And it's like, oh yeah, no, I vote Karu and Sanji. And eyelashes.
Yeah, I thought this SBS was actually kind of interesting. It's kind of a look behind the production.
Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, you know the voice actors? They do a lot. We have one person doing like 5 voices.
Yeah. But like when they have like just a throwaway like voice that doesn't really, have a ton of lines or like big lines, like, hey, you want to take this one? Yeah, sure.
It's like, I know you're already just for shits and giggles, do a quack for me. We got that? All right, never mind. Yeah, you're not getting paid for that.
I would do it. If I was getting paid to be a voice actor and they're like, hey, will you quack real quick? I'd be like, quack.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Fucking, unfortunately, voice actors in Japan, much like the mangakus, are like not extremely overworked and not paid shit. Like, most of the money goes to the production companies. Which is a shame, because you got, not Oda yet. Hopefully the motherfucker will start looking at some of the other big names that passed away from the overwork, having strokes and heart attacks and shit, because they just work so much. The smoking's gonna get him. I know he, because we mentioned it when, what's-his-name had the ashtray piled to the top, Chestnut guy.
Yes. You said that's probably his office.
It's probably what his office fucking looks like. It's like 4 ashtrays like that. If, like, lung cancer doesn't get him, the house fire will. But yeah, that's all I got on that chapter. I feel like a lot of this has been combat. A lot of combat panels.
Yeah, my notes are essentially echo that same thing, and they're quite short. So yeah, I don't remember how Chopper, or at least when I first read through this and was taking my notes, I didn't remember how Chopper and the Sky Knight got out of their situation, because one, Chopper can't swim, and Sky Knight is fucking cooked. And without giving too much away, I know that I'm pretty sure the quote-unquote spoiler is in this volume, but whatever. I wouldn't say I'm super content with it, but nor am I going to raise my pitchfork at it. So I'll leave it at that. But the battle was cool. I thought it had an interesting ending. Maybe not as interesting as it started out, but I mean, obviously that final panel of the last chapter where he's being stabbed through the chest was fucking insane. The ball dragon was a strange attack, but ultimately I liked it. I do definitely see you guys' comparisons to the Chinese Lunar New Year, I think you called it, dragon. Usopp having a very significant part to play in this while not being directly involved in combat, and then Luffy and Sanji kind of teaming up was really cool way to handle this guy. I thought the art of that final 2-pager was insane. And yeah, I would also agree that goddamn Sanji could have said anything else, and this whole sequence just, like, we would probably be talking about it for a long time. You know, we'd be like, God damn, Sanji, let's go, Sanji. But it's like, oh, Sanji.
He sprinkled that good old little Sanji bullshit on it, and he ruined it.
You used too much bullshit.
Yeah.
And then the SBS was interesting. That's really it. Here's my summary. Plainly an action chapter. Yep. Great action. And the chopper cliffhanger was interesting. I appreciate it. I don't really have much else to say about that. It was good. V251.
So yeah, I'm going to just generally preface this chapter by saying that I don't have a whole lot of detail for this one, but I feel like it did set up a few important elements and carried the story forward in significant ways. I just don't have much in terms of like more intricate details. I've said this before, I'll say it again, and I'll expand on it even a little bit later as we progress through the volume, but I'm really enjoying the vibes of the Shandian. I do want to be conscious of the fact that some people may interpret this as a caricature of indigenous peoples, you know, with the teepees and the totems are reminiscent of what has been seen in North America. Wipers' tattoos and general aesthetic kind of remind me of the Polynesians or the Maori in the Pacific Islands. But for now, I'm choosing to see it as cultural appreciation rather than appropriation. I feel like it's done in a tasteful way. And also, as we progress through the volume, more themes of colonialism and stuff like that come up, so I feel like Oda is approaching it in a mindful way. And I kind of like that it's a little bit of a change of pace from things that we've seen before. So I appreciate that the little bit of storyline to interject with the quest that our Straw Hats are on. So, skipping ahead a little bit, Sanji, Luffy, and Usopp make it out of the Forest of No Return with the help of Usopp's Awawa. And for a brief moment, we're back to Zoro, Nami, and Robin on page 7. It doesn't last very long, though, as pages 8 and 9 bring more attention to 2 of the remaining Kami. Oh, the guy at the bottom of page 8 freaks me the fuck out. Like,
I texted one of our
you mean Aku?
Listeners. Yeah, Aku.
Yeah.
I was like, is this guy one of the ugliest characters in One Piece?
Yes. The answer is yes.
He said no.
I think so.
But I don't know.
But yeah, and it's just that there's a little bit of a dichotomy here because, like, yeah, so this guy freaks me out, and then I'm immediately softened by the guy at the bottom of page 9 solely...
You mean the lead singer of Disturbed over here?
Yes, but also because he's talking to his dog. And I think that's very cute. He goes on a rampage later on. He kills people.
Yeah. As dogs do. At least pit bulls do.
I'd be hungry.
They gotta eat.
It's reminding me of Steve Carell's character in Anchorman, Brick, and Ron Burgundy says, like, Brick killed a man.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't mean to talk with you about that.
Yeah. You might need to lay low for a while.
Yeah, get your family and lay down for a while.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what it reminded me of, like the super innocent looking dog just going absolutely fucking feral later on.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, not a whole lot of notes for the next few pages where the Shandian are coming in, but I do have a couple of highlights, most notably the panel at the bottom of page 11 as the horde is coming in. in the top of page 12 where we hone in on some of the key members of the group, and then finally the bottom of page 13 when the three kami realize what's happening. Like, it was just a good way, like, it flowed really well. I enjoyed that like sequence of panels as they're attacking. I'm glad to find out that Chopper, the Sky Knight, and Pierre are still alive, and that Chopper plans on tending to their wounds. But like Chopper, I am unsure of how they were saved. I will say, judging by the resounding jaw, I'm guessing it might have something to do with the Southbirds. Which look a little bit different, which we do expand on a little bit later on, I think, in this volume. Page 15 brings us back to Zoro, Nami, and Robin as they approach a structure that seems familiar to them. At first, it's unclear what they're referring to, but the 2-page spread at pages 16 and 17 tell us everything we need to know. The other half of Cricket's house is up here in Skypiea. And as is pointed out, the landmass that they're currently on is part of the continent they left below the clouds. I loved the way this page looked, with the roots overtaking the building. Our 3 protagonists also placed on the page as a means to kind of show the depth of the image. Like, Nami has her hand on the building, Robin is in the middle, walking towards it, and Zoro's more in the foreground as he's stepping over a large root. Like, I would love to see this in color. Like, that's another really good panel. It's gorgeous. I really, really like that. And yeah, so my suspicions about the Southbirds are proven right at page 18, although we still don't know whether or not they saved Chopper and the others. And the realization of what happened to the missing Jaya, you know, of it floating in the sky rather than have sank to the bottom of the sea, kind of just dawns as the chapter ends. And yeah, again, just to me, that was a great ending of the chapter, with the like more broader shot of the jungle island and the birds and the side of Nami's face. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. It was like a da 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 kind of moment, you know? So yeah, that's it. That's what I had for 251. Dylan?
It is Ree. Like I said, the whole toy shop thing on the cover is hilarious. He's giving them all names. Natsu Tetsuro, Kayan, Kabashinji? Yeah, Kabashinji.
Does this change how you feel about Wapol at all?
It might.
Not me.
It's certainly an example of someone taking negative energy and finding a good outlet for it.
He's a tyrant.
He is. No, he's a piece of shit.
Well, he's trying to be an extortionate bastard, but it's like, I'm selling to children, so the only way I can make money is to sell it at a price they can afford.
Yeah. And like the look of despair on his face, I can only imagine that's like he's hating every bit of this.
And we get a lot of mention of the mantras, but I'm not really understanding what they are yet. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing if we get like kind of like an in-depth dump on what the mantras are. Because I mean, the head leader of the Shidians is like, all right, let's get this straight. According to your mantra, 2 of them are down. 2 of them are down for the count.
And they've also referred to the mantra in how the vassals are able to kind of
predict attacks and stuff.
Yes. Yep.
But it's like we're not getting a real explanation of what it is yet. So, but then like after they get that knowledge, it's like, okay, this is the time to do it. We saw that. What's his name? He's down and out for the count, but now 2 of the other guys are down. Let's fucking go. And you see the woman, she's trying to be able to see. It's like, oh, can I see inside your bag? And she's like, no. It's mine. It's like, I'll help you get some more.
You know what? You remember what's in her bag, right?
Well, yeah, it's I forget what they call it, the Vars. It gets revealed later that it's actual soil. Because Skypiea doesn't get soil, so they can't grow crops. But now, that's the reason they got greedy, is they're able to grow crops.
Yep.
And then the leader sees this. That's all we get. And I love how we keep getting the interaction. Usopp's calling in. It's like, hey, I found the ship. Hurry up. Like, oh my god, Usopp, you're alive too? Damn, we all kind of narrowly avoided death. Awesome. And then I think it's funny, Usopp's son, and like, actually now, like, Usopp's like, guys, grab onto my body, and like, Sanji's like, hold on, gay? Your body?
Yeah.
But, and then also, like, I'm wondering if now Attack on Titan took some inspiration.
This would be a very small spot to take inspiration from, but maybe.
But, like, there's a lot of shots at Attack on Titan where Usopp's launch, the way it's launched out from the hip, the pose he's taking, where it's like all the weight is being put into his waist and his feet. I could that panel, top left of 5, is very much like the 3D maneuvering gear Attack on Titan. If you look at a lot of the Attack on Titan stuff, a lot of times when they're using the maneuvering gear, that's what it looks like. So I'm wondering if maybe someone was a fan of Oda, was reading this shit and was like, that concept right there is super cool. Okay, now they have to kill giants using that kind of technology. All right, we got an anime.
All right, yeah, we
got
proof
one
of concept.
We got one of the best ones coming out in a long time.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see. I like that. And then of course, then be like, yeah, we did it, and then seeing them fucking knock around, getting slammed around as they're dragging to it, a lot of fun. And then we see them all on the boat. And then Luffy, as a side note, being like, you know what? Probably been easier if I just used my gum powers.
Yeah.
You would have.
Luffy's not here to make anyone else's life easier. Let's be honest.
We talked about this one. It's like jumping between things and the fight's resolved. It's like, all right, Karasumuro, the dial ship, makes it safely out of the force of no return and heads for the upper yard. Da-dum, and it cuts to the defeated enemy. We get to see a coup, which apparently he's got a tick, I'm guessing. He's sitting there having a little monologue, and he's like, right now, and he starts biting his bottom lip. He's like,
it's not explained well what is going on there.
It gets explained later. It's like, dude, you understand we can't understand you when you're biting your lip like that, right? Like, stop.
Yeah, that happens later, yeah.
It's like, get your thumb out of your mouth, you thumb-sucking baby. But then seeing the Shadins come in is just fucking awesome. I love that. And also, like, that top panel of 10 also gives a lot of... Actually, all of 10 gives a lot of Attack on Titan movement. Because the silhouettes going through the air, the acrobatic maneuvers... And just be able, the whole, like, wave dasher skates, really fucking cool concept. It's like, hey, Luffy, you know what you should do? After you resolve all the issues here, you should have a training montage with those. And you should have a pair of those on you at all times.
Bro, everyone should have some.
That is going to make you... Well, it's because he can't swim. So if he has these and he ends up going underwater, he can use these to get back to the surface.
Okay. I see. I hear you.
But I like that idea. It's like, you mix, like, a native warband with roller derby. Yeah, that's fucking way more badass than it has any right to be. But we see it's like they're in full force. It's like the opportunities come, time to attack. Okay, and now bottom of 11, you get a better look at how the weapon's used. And what I thought was the magwell is definitely a shoulder pad.
And I think he has a riot shield on his back.
Yeah, they all have, like, if you look, I want to say the vast majority of them do have some form of shield.
They're pretty badass, and this is a really imposing panel, actually, I think.
All of this being animated would probably be super fucking cool to look at. We do get to see the weapon that has been in question this whole time in use. So it does look like he uses it shoulder fired, which is weird because they made it look like there was a grip on the back of it in the original shots, but whatever.
There may be multiple ways you can wield it.
That's what I'm thinking. And I'm also wondering, like, where he's got his forehand grip, I'm wondering if it's a grip that'll swivel. Based on how you're holding it, you can reorientate the handle.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, because in World War II, the Browning machine guns, they eventually, because before, it was like when they were water fed, you'd have to have a glove, because the tank would be red hot, because you're sitting there firing for a prolonged time, and it's water cooled, so you're taking it off to move it, the water in that radiator's hot as shit. So you have to have a glove to be able to pick it up, because you have to hold it by the barrel. The Pacific covers it really well and shows it, because Bastogne loses his glove in the middle of a firefight, and it's like, nope. And ends up getting third-degree burn. Like, he grabs it with his hand at first. His hand gets burned to shit. And then he eventually starts using his forearm. But we see they start shooting off. We see the big explosion. And then we see the 3 remaining vassals, the Shandians. I just want to assume the N is silent because Shadians rolls off a lot better.
The N is not silent.
I will probably keep mispronouncing it because it's easier to say Shadians than Shandians.
You do you.
And it's weird, okay? Because, like, now, like, Usopp's like, what the heck?
Usopp? You mean Chopper, right?
Sorry, yeah, Chopper. He's like, wait, what the hell? You guys fell through the ocean? How are you on the altar? What's going on? Like, you fell through the river. You should be... I think, wait, Chopper did too, because Chopper went in after him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what the hell? How are we here? What's going on?
I do believe V was correct. Like, the Southbird saved them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Because it doesn't show it here, but you do see one of them flying around. Because Usopp looks up and is like, oh, God. And you hear flap, flap.
Chopper, but yeah.
Yeah, I keep saying Usopp. Why the fuck do I keep saying Usopp? Anyways, Chopper.
He's left an impression he's
been a big boy. I can respect it. We get the revelation that what Nami saw is the other half of Chestnut Guy's house. And it's like, oh shit, no, this is. Like, El Dorado was real. The reason they didn't find it or any of the gold is because it got shot into the sky. And it's like, damn, that's cool shit. And then we see it's like, now it's the Southbirds. And it's like, Chopper's like, Southbirds, why?
Same question I had.
And holy shit, like, you see him calling and everything. I'm gonna go through a guess. It's like, the Southbirds realize that they're not from Skypiea, and they realize these people are coming from where they normally came from. Okay. And the Skypeans have always been aggressors, so that's why they helped Usopp and the Sky Knight, because they were trying to create peace. Because the Southbirds are intelligent. Chopper had conversations with that Southbird.
I'll take that. I think that's a more interesting explanation than...
Because the big panel on 19, we're hearing Joe, we're seeing all those, but that's like a flock of Southbirds showing up. And I want to see where that because I don't think, looking back on the whole volume, I don't think that gets resolved, but I think it is at some point coming forward. I'm excited to see what the deal with that is, because we know they're giant, because again, Skypiea accelerated growth because it's a different environment where they can grow a lot faster. But yeah, and then it's like you get the final reveal. It's like all this time the Missing Jaya has been floating in the sky. Whoa.
It was cool, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got for that chapter. So pretty good volume so far.
Yeah. It's I was talking to V before you got in, but going through this slower, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that during my first read through, this was one of my least favorite arcs. Not the least of them all, but it was on the bottom half, I would say. However, I am finding a lot of new things to appreciate and a lot of intrigue and interest in this, just in the handful of volumes that we've gone through. And I kind of know what happens, and it only gets better from here, I do believe. So I'm really excited to kind of recontextualize this arc in my mind. I'm really loving this. But yeah. 251. Let me go ahead and wrap this episode up here. So, we continue with the native Shandians. I don't know that we've really, and I think this is fine, but I think at this point we haven't really been given a whole lot of reasons as of chapter 251 to really care about them. But it's clear that the spotlight is being directed on them as at least a interesting third party. You know, you got the Straw Hats, you got the Vassals and Kami, and then whatever these guys got going on. So it's interesting. Again, I don't hate it, but there is certainly a lack of motive, which is fine. Maybe it's building to that motive, you know? I don't know. I wasn't exactly sure how I felt about all this, but they're at least cool characters. So they got that. Usopp, Batman. That's all I wrote, and I think it speaks for itself.
Basically, yeah, except he's not rich. That's it.
Poor, you too
he's a poor
can
Batman.
be Batman.
You just have to watch your parents die.
I mean...
Or leave,
right.
Oh, he did watch his mother die.
He's watched his dad get shot down, too. Yeah, they had gunned down in the street.
Oh, no, I was talking about Usopp. I know Batman watched his
No, we're talking about Usopp, yeah.
He did watch his mother die. That is true. And
his dad left.
Well, his dad's out just hanging with the boys.
Hanging with the boys.
Yeah. I was like, damn, wife has cancer, can't be bothered. What's in a bar, dude?
I'm a pirate, dude. You think I got time for
a dying wife?
Let's hit the Izakaya.
Yeah. You guys, again, certain things that we've talked about are a little fuzzy at this point, but you guys know where his father is, right?
Yeah, he's part of Red Headed Shank's crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate Gadatsu's design. I don't know if they named him yet.
Not yet, but
that's on me.
I hate it. It's right. The Aku comparison is pretty good with Samurai Jack, right?
Yeah, Aku's way cooler.
Oh, I love. Okay. Can we just? Samurai Jack was so good. Sorry. It was so good. I fucking love.
We should
Samurai
rewatch
Jack.
it. I haven't seen it since it came out.
I would love to rewatch it. I would love to. And
hell yeah.
The intro.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great rewatch.
The intro song is so good, and it's Will I Am.
Yeah, it sure is. Jack.
Last of the
Before he got pretentious and tried to make smartwatches that were dog shit.
What? Will I Am is a crazy motherfucker. Yeah. I wouldn't try to put logic.
He's not Kanye crazy though.
No. But yeah, Samurai Jack, just good. It was delicious.
But yes, his name's Gadatsu. I don't think that's any crazy spoiler. I feel like that's my catchphrase.
It's me, Gadatsu.
And then the other guy kind of looks like trailer trash is what I'm getting from him.
A little bit.
I do appreciate his relationship with the dog, but he reminds me of just every Disturbed fan from 2000, 2005.
Okay, wait. As someone who was a Disturbed fan in 2005, I resent that. I saw them in concert.
Yeah, I did too.
I fucking loved it. I love Disturbed.
All right. I really like the Shandians rushing in. Dylan called out the panel at the top of 10, but I also think the panel at the bottom of 11 is equally great. It's just full of anger and energy and some motherfuckers ready to beat some ass. And yeah, hell yeah. That's sick. Again, still lacking a full understanding of their motivation, but that can come in time.
Yeah, it's definitely a show of like, oh, a war band going to war.
Yes. Exactly. They look tough as hell there. And then I thought this ending was awesome. I thought the reveal of Jaya being part of this, again, kind of like the Shandeans, I'm not sure what it ultimately means, besides they kind of have an idea of a map of where the treasure might be based on what was told to them, yada, yada, yada. But it is cool, and it definitely reeks of just like an interesting little mystery. And I feel like that is something that this arc so far has done way better than Alabasta or any that came before. Alabasta just being a very long compared to the East Blue stuff. Like, Alabasta didn't have a ton of mystery, maybe some, but this feels very like almost Scooby-Doo-esque. I'm just trying to reconcile like the cartooniness of it with the actual mystery. I know it's not like a guy running around in a mask, but that's just like a vibe I'm pulling here. Is that crazy?
I kind of see what you're saying.
Either way, I like it. I think it's intriguing. It definitely makes me want to see what's coming next. And yeah, I thought this was really well done. Overall, this was really good for what I would consider to be a setup chapter for what's coming.
Right.
It left me with more questions than answers, and that's good. That's good. This is not the time to answer questions. This is the perfect time to build them up. The setting proves to be more and more mysterious, and it's a very interesting setting. It's beautifully drawn. I like how the setting's being used overall. I think the setting is almost like another main character here. It's really telling a lot of story just with the environments and the art of all of that. And yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It was a really cool ending. And that will be all that we have to say for the first half of volume 27. Is that right? Yeah. 27. So catch us next time for the conclusion of volume 27. Don't forget to check us out on Discord, but also Instagram and Twitter, if you will. And for now, well, do you guys have anything you want to add here?
No, I'll keep my final thoughts for the volume at the end of the next episode.
The finale.
Yeah.
Dylan, anything on your mind?
Nope, just static.
All right. Well, I want to thank Dylan and V for joining me here. I want to thank our listeners for listening. And as always, bon voyage.
Bon voyage.
Ciao, Bella.